The Djinn Jihad, Chapter 3.
Smoke billows up from the city streets like it is trying to escape from the madness that is festering below. Pittsburgh looks like a ghost town from far away. None of the button-down professionals braved the commute today. A few of the blue-collar types made it in, the ones that didn't have any sick days left. And of course, the security guards made it in. They always made it in. Since the mosque on the north side was bombed, the city had been holding its breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Behind a broken window in a storefront, there is a television turned to a local news broadcast. Somewhere behind the fierce screams and angry chanting, the blonde talking head is calmly telling us all about the peaceful demonstration around the newly built Freedom City Center skyscraper. She calmly raises her eyebrow and says any violence must be the fault of the city's police force. Her TV studio is in a building with armed guards on the other side of town. "The Caliphate rises!" The phrase is screamed and pulses through the mob like a tidal wave. Teeth clenched, spit and raised fists. A wild pack of dogs scrapping for blood, cartilage, meat, bone. Ski masks, burning flags, AK-47s. "The Shadow Caliphate rises!" A glass bottle sails overhead. It is filled with searing paint, and it is on fire. The bottle smashes against the Freedom City Center. Flames coat the wall. The glass on the doors to the lobby are broken. The doors themselves have been locked for all the good that is going to do in a few minutes. There are cops in the lobby, and they are panicking. One is on his walkie-talkie pleading for help. "What are rubber bullets going to do? They have machine guns out there!" Another one says, his eyes wide, "He has a suicide vest!" Away from the mob, a man with an explosive vest and a black mask breaks free from the other protesters. He walks towards the door, the terrified police officers. The man in the ski mask is quietly saying prayers. The one on the radio yelled, "Jesus, I don't know what to do!" Far above, on a window washer scaffold on a building across the street, hunkered Gretchen Cooper. 50 cal sniper rifle, binoculars, and a radio. She is holding the binoculars up to her pointy cat-framed glasses, her striking green eyes scanning, surveying. It had taken her a little longer to get into a position than she planned for, but the rest of the team should be in place. They went in through the parking garage on the opposite side of the building. She keys the mic. "Even is out here with me in the truck, in case these riders go full-on war zone. SWAT team at the front doors. We'll use them as the first line of defense. They look spooked already. The crowd has AKs. I see a few RPGs. No lamp yet." Inside the building in the lobby, the boys are listening to Gretchen through earpiece radios. Shin is behind the cops, out of sight, out of mind. Shinpo Tan is behind the column, peering out. He looks like a ninja, mask, suit, swords, and an AR-15. Stitch is the third line of defense. Stitch is further back, weapon in hand and full-on tactical vest, and underneath that, his trademark filthy white bodysuit he is sewn into. Axe and McCord are in the main elevator lobby. They are the last line of defense. Staff Sergeant McCord, the World War II-era warbot, yellow eyes flashing, responds, "We all know our jobs. Let's get control over this thing before it gets started." Axe peers off, looking at the lane of approach. When this thing goes down, he must not let McCord get too far away from him. The boys hear the mic open again in Gretchen's voice. There is movement. The protester with the bomb vest is sprinting for the door. Broken glass, scared cops. Gretchen is trying to shoulder the sniper rifle, but the bomber is moving very fast. The explosion is blinding. It opens up the whole front entrance of the building like a gaping wound. Through the smoke, Gretchen can see 3 more bombers running in right after. One of them disappears into the building. You couldn't even hear the cracks of the sniper rifle over the mob. The top of the 3rd bomber's skull disappears, splintering skull, atomizing brain jelly. The 4th bomber's head briefly turned into a cloud of pink mist and disappears. Shin sees the bomber running toward the main elevator lobby, the center of the main part of the building. He has a giant scimitar drawn and raised over his head. Gretchen keys her mic. One is heading your way. You might not want to use your rifle. He's wired with C4. Shin ditches his assault rifle and draws his katana. The bomber sees Shin and yells his last words. The Caliphate rises! A large white box truck is parked in an alley across from the protest. Sitting patiently inside the truck is Even, the stone golem. Rabbi Aronofsky was ducked down, hiding. Gretchen tells him to open the door and invite his friend to the party. This is all escalating rather quickly, the rabbi says to himself as he gets out and nervously walks to the rear of the truck. Didn't know it was going to be like this, he says as he grasps the handle of the truck. As the door swings open, the rabbi takes a deep breath and tilts his head up to look at his work. He allows himself to feel a little swell of pride. He says, almost as a prayer, Yasher Koch, Even the stone golem. Give him hell, son. At the edge of the protest, jihadists are screaming. The Caliphate rises. The box truck is now wide open. The heavy-duty shocks on the back axle creaks and moans with relief. Even the stone golem stands, a monolithic slab of granite easily 10 feet tall with 4 Hebrew letters carved into his chest. He is a monument crafted to honor the ancient god of war, the god of the Old Testament. Blood and thunder. Even the stone golem is here to honor that god and do his work. With impossibly heavy concrete cracking steps, he moves forward towards the mob. When the wild mad dog protesters see the stone golem, it is already too late for them. The golem rampages through their midst, arms and legs torn from sockets and joints sailing in the air. Jihadists folded in half violently. Blood, teeth, vomit. A swing of the mighty stone arm pulping people. Torn off heads fly through the air and roll onto the street. The ancient gray stone glistens with the blood of the enemy. One of them fires an RPG at the golem. The grenadier says to the man standing next to him, Go, brother, you must deliver the lamp. The man beside him has an old brass lamp strapped to him. He says, For the Caliph, and starts running away from the golem. He starts running for the smoking, gaping entrance to the doomed building. He is followed by another bomber. With the briefest flicker of chrome and blood, Shin's katana effortlessly pushes through a bomber's chest, slides deftly between his ribs, through his heart, and past between 2 of his vertebrae. A third of the sword was sticking out of his back, and with a flick of his wrist, the blade turns him off like a light switch. The runner with the lamp and the suicide bomber who is running behind him approaches Shin. The runner jumps in the air and steps on the tip of Shin's sword. The runner springboards off the weapon and flips over Shin. Shin pivots around to have at the runner. He widens his stance and goes in high guard setting, ready to end this madness before it gets too far out of control. The bomber who is trailing behind the runner yells, For the Shadow Caliphate! As the bomber triggers his bomb, he yells, The Caliphate rises! It's blinding and loud. The vest packed with nails and rat poison. The nails to provide shrapnel, the rat poison to act as an anticoagulant. The runner takes cover and Shin takes the full brunt of the explosion. Did I mention how bright and loud it is? Through the smoke of the explosion, Stitch sees the runner. He brings up his rifle. Buzzing in his ear, he can hear Gretchen telling Shin to get out of the building. This is gonna be so titties, he says to himself. Gretchen hardly ever lets him use guns. Before he pulls the trigger, he starts screaming, Rat-a-tat-tat! Rat-a-tat-tat! He squeezes the trigger. Bolt clacks, brass flies, bullets burst out. The runner, Stitch notices, is very fast and agile. He jumps up and kicks off the wall, literally dodging bullets like one of those French guys. Pew, pew, pew! Stitch yells, still blasting away at the runner. The runner spin kicks Stitch and rings his bell pretty good. He loses his rifle and he finds himself on his back, looking up at the runner who stands over him. The runner looks into Stitch's ice-blue eyes. He says to Stitch in a low, serious tone, intensity flowing through him, hatred pulsing off of him, or maybe from within him. A beacon of everything terrifying, willful hatred. The Caliphate rises! Raise this, jerkface! While Stitch raised his right leg as fast and hard as he could into the crotch of the running jihadist, he raises his right hand and flips him the most serious middle finger ever flipped in recorded history. Bam! Stitch actually feels something break, or pop, or burst open on the business end of his combat boot, which is totally gross. McCord and Axe show up to lend support. They see the runner obviously in serious pain. He has the lamp in his hand. Axe points his rifle. Get him, Sergeant! McCord cautions against firing since the nature of the lamp was unknown to him. There was no debate, no shots fired. It all happened so fast. The runner yells one last time, gasping through the intense pain that feels like it is running down his leg like hot butter. The Caliphate rises! Blue light exploded forth from the lamp as it opened. Something weird was happening with the air pressure. The sound of a high-speed train wreck was somehow coming from that little brass lamp. Gretchen could swear that the whole building buckled a little. Shin runs out of the gaping wound entrance of the building. He asks over the radio what was going on. Inside, McCord grabbed Stitch. Come on, Fort! This is gonna suck, Stitch said. A bright blue and orange flash shot from the ground floor up into the highest floor of the building. Gretchen could see it flashing up floor to floor, shattering a fault line of exterior glass all the way up the building. The building seemed to take a breath and then groaned. The next explosion ripped through the building along the fault line and seemed to separate the doomed Freedom City Center. Another explosive surge cracking the building in half. It was almost like a punishment for somehow still standing. With that, the building started coming down on itself. One last victorious surge lighting up the sky with hatred. Gretchen could feel the heat and debris. She was speechless other than the words, prayer, whatever. Oh my God. Jihadists started to scatter as smoke and debris spewed forth. One runs past even the stone golem, yelling, "It is done! The walking fire is among us!" That guy looks really happy. Shin is hunched down, peering at the building coming down, trying to conceive how Axe, Stitch, and McCord could possibly live through this. I can't see anything down here. He tries his radio. Axe! McCord! Deep in the center of the collapsing building is a chaotic avalanche hell. Masonry, steel, broken glass, gravity. Axe and Stitch are standing next to McCord, who is shouldering a massive amount of falling wreckage. The warbot is using fallen I-beams to leverage and distribute the weight of the crumbling building on his shoulders. Axe and Stitch are crouched under him. The rabbi is weeping, watching the building as it and its pieces finally comes to a rest. There is no way anyone could have survived that. From his vantage point, he can see a blinding blue and orange light making its way out of the ruins of the building. The brilliant light casting long shadows of Shin and even the stone golem over the wreckage as they stand to meet the Djinn. The dirt and tears making muddy trails on the rabbi's face. Monsters. They monsters. Dear God. Frantic, Gretchen keys her mic. Shin, are you okay? Shin answers her. It's up to us now. Debris, smoke, lunatic screams. Gretchen fires back. Us, and even the stone golem. I am going in there to save the team, Shin admits. He looks at the ruins of the building. The new church of hatred. The altar of chaos. Gretchen protests for some reason. Shin interrupts. They could still be alive. Half question, half prayer. Saraya, the Djinn, emerges from the ruins of the building. A full 9 feet tall with blue skin. The walking rage. The walking hatred. The walking fire. He is mostly bald, a ponytail lock of flames at the back of his head, his blue and orange flaming eyes. He wears the brass wrist bracers of a slave. He raises his arms to the sky.
It is Allah's will that I once again war on the soil of my enemy.
His words echo through the surreal stillness. Death, destruction, wreckage. Somewhere in the chaos, a group of police officers are trying to make it to the building. One of them is run through with a scimitar. "Riders!" one of the cops yelled. "The Caliphate rises!" surges, jump-starting the madness. Running forms through clouds and smoke. The leader of the police officers shoulders his shotgun. "This isn't a riot, it's a war zone!" He uses the shotgun to open up any person not wearing a police uniform. Another cop sees the wreckage of the building through the smoke. It looks like a strange abandoned cathedral or something out of an old black and white picture of some distant world war. He pulls his radio. "Freedom City Center is down! The whole damn thing is down!" Another cop starts barking orders. "Set up a perimeter! We must surround this chaos!" "Rises! Thank Allah! The Caliphate rises!" Yelling, half fear, half elation, half running away, half dances. Crazy asses. Another cop on his walkie-talkie trying to be the lone voice of reason. "We have to get out of here!" The Djinn steps out into the street, out into the chaos. The sunlight struggles against the smoke and violence, muscles rippling under its pale blue skin. The Djinn smiles wide, his appetite whet for the carnage he will bring. Death, war, jihad. Across the street, even the stone golem approaches him, spattered in the blood of his enemies. Through the dark billowing smoke, the police officers see the two massive figures approaching each other. "Jesus Christ, what are those?" one yelps. Both of the blotted-out dark figures cock their arms back, both about to throw a punch. "We gotta get out of here," another one adds. The Djinn and the golem's hands connect with massive force. Cracks splinter through even the stone golem's hand and up the great granite forearm. His fist starts to crumble, falling to the pavement.
I will return you to the sand, golem,
the Djinn declares triumphantly. Across the street, Shin scrambles up on the wreckage of the building. He is lifting large slabs of broken and damaged rubble over his head as he calls out for his buried team. He scans around looking for any sign of life. "Axe! McCord!" The Djinn and the golem are grappling now. Stone cracking, splintering like slate. Neck, choke, squeeze. The Djinn elbows his way out of a chokehold. A splintering star of damage erupts across the golem's chest. With a punch from the mighty Djinn, the left part of the golem's head atomizes to gravel. The Djinn hammers the golem's chest. Knuckle craters across the massive stone frame. With one last final blow, the golem crumbles to rubble. The Djinn stares into the smoke and addresses the world.
You send this hero magic to defeat me instead of meeting me head on. The way of the desert.
Holding his arms up triumphantly in the air, Saraya, the Djinn, screams to his enemies,
I will teach you the ways of the desert. I will teach you with my hands.
Shouldering the weight of the world, Gretchen's still up in her perch, watching the fierce warrior fall to the Djinn. She keys her mic and, trying to hide the surrender in her voice, asks, "How do we stop him? He's unstoppable."